Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Cyan about Perceived Grace, both on here and Instagram. And today I am bringing you a very exciting addition to my journal system for 2024. And I am setting up 2024 in my new Faith Reads journal. So this year I am doing a 52 weeks of Faith Reads challenge. It's kind of in an effort to adjust or reorganize my reading ratios. If you're familiar with my reading journal on Instagram or on here, it is primarily for the fiction that I read. It is only for the fiction that I read, just because I never really quite knew how I wanted to do a reading journal for the nonfiction that I read. I am Christian, I'm a Reformed Presbyterian, and really the only nonfiction that I read is probably theology, history, or any sort of practical Christian help, things like that. So that is the nonfiction that I read, which I've always read really as long as that I've been a Christian who takes reading those things seriously. But I didn't know how I wanted it to look in a journal, and I think I finally figured that out. And I thought a 52 weeks of Faith Reads challenge was kind of a cool way to do that, especially if anyone else wanted to kind of have a version of that. I did have some people reach out to me on Instagram and say that this was a helpful way to adjust their reading ratios as well when it comes to reading fiction versus nonfiction. And I think a week is a perfect amount of time to spend with a nonfiction book in general, just because when you read nonfiction, you are aiming to retain it. You know, you're aiming to digest it and retaining it. And I think a week is a good amount of time. Whereas with fiction, I don't know about you. Yes, I remember the stories, but I'm not trying to retain a fiction book or digest a fiction book. I'm trying to enjoy the story. And so I don't need a week to spend with it. You know, I can read a fiction read in a couple of hours. Don't get me wrong, there are some one-sitting nonfiction books out there too that I have enjoyed in a sitting or in a few hours. So all of that, you know, kind of gets into semantics. But anyway, I wanted to set up an entire new reading journal for this endeavor. I do want to keep these things a little bit separate just so it doesn't get confusing as far as what I share and in what journal I share it. And this just kind of keeps things neat and tidy, which I'm a fan of. I am using an 8x8 bullet journal from Art Journal Olive, which is a brand new size to me. I have never ventured into the square or 8x8 journal size, and I will say it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I think it was the perfect size to select for the setup. And I think you'll agree after you see how I do things. And I think it just makes sense because I'm not going to be organizing this journal into months. I'm not going to be organizing it in the way that you might have seen me do with other journals. The week aspect makes sense to me. And then I do show you examples of how I'm doing the journal spreads, because I'm not reviewing the books that I'm going to be reading for this challenge. Like, I'm not going to be rating them. I'm going to be documenting and recording my experience reading them and kind of just writing down quotes that I liked, writing down sections or chapters that I liked, documenting, like the factual aspects of the book, like the publisher, the year it was published, the author, things like that, and just kind of my thoughts. You'll see at the end. I will show you two examples of week 1 and week 2 of 2024 at the time that I filmed this video. I filmed it a couple weeks ago. Today is Saturday, January 27th when I'm doing this voiceover. So this is up a little bit late, but I just wanted to get it up at some point in January and share it. I already shared it on Instagram in a timely fashion. So if you're following me there, you would have already seen this and you would have already known that I was doing this challenge. And every Monday or Tuesday, I tried to update what I thought about the book the week prior and share the book for the new week. And I do have a story highlights of this on my Instagram as well if you kind of want to be caught up to speed, if you're interested in this. As always, I'm using scrapbooking paper. 2024 is the year of scrapbooking paper for me. You might have noticed that I have a lot of scrapbooking paper I'm interested in using. I cut myself off on the voiceover, but what I was saying is I have a lot of scrapbooking paper that I want to use for this year, and so this journal is no exception to that. None of my journals are safe from my new scrapbooking obsession, but they are from Joann's, and I'll link things down below. But I'm going with this like rich jewel-toned color palette, as you'll see. So emerald, like purples, deep blue, teal color that's in there. There's like this interesting blue purple as well. I don't know if they all qualify as jewel tones, but definitely more of like the richer colors, I would say, and I think they work very nicely together. So that's what I'm setting up here and what I showed you when I was going through my materials. And then I did my lettering for the 52 weeks of Faith Reads off camera, just because I wasn't really super excited to film this day, and so I kind of just did as much as I could off camera before filming the actual process. And all of the stickers you see, except for a couple, I actually made in Canva. So like the 2024 banner, I made that in Canva. The verse that's going to go on the quote page opposite of this page, I made that in Canva. I made those week banners, like week 1, week 2, week 3, the ones you see on the left-hand side there. I made those on Canva. I found the torn book pages that you see on those sheets and the book stack and those stars right there. I found those on Canva and I turned them into stickers. What is not from Canva later in the video are going to be these book stickers that are from Pen Paling Paula. And then also you're going to see these other kinds of star doodles that I got from May Illustrations. I will link everything down below that I can if I can find it. But other than that, this was a very simple prep for this. And as you'll see, it's a very low maintenance setup in general because I only need so much out of this yearly setup. It's not too demanding. Like I said, this is more about what am I getting out of these reads and not so much like the fun aspect of tracking, so to speak. I don't want it to be about like tracking and how much can I read. I want it to be quality over quantity, obviously. So I'm kind of only creating for these setups what I need. But other than that, enjoy the rest of the process. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy.